Okay, this is a video tour of my black hole machine. Just going to talk about what I've done to this machine since I've had it, and take you on a little tour of the process. And it's going to be probably a lengthy video because I did a lot to this guy, but this is basically the finished product right here. So let's take it from the top then. Well, I guess we'll start with the main playfield. I removed both playfields from this machine, put them on the rotisserie, and removed all the topside components and cleaned everything up. You can probably notice that this is a brand new plastic set that I installed. Basically everyone, the originals were bad, so they had to go. I replaced all the rubbers, of course, tightened up all the posts. I'm pretty sure I hand cleaned every post and hand cleaned all the flipper grooves, all the lane guides. Made sure I picked the best lane guides from what I had in stock. All the drop targets are good. On the top side, none are incorrect. All the pop bumper caps are also good. They often have one clip broken on the side, so I made sure this guy got all good pop bumper caps. So on the rotisserie, I cleaned every single switch. I just addressed anything that needed addressing, mostly just a cleaning. Oh, I also I did some touch-ups on the playfield. Some are better than others. Over time, this window, the gaskets, the rubber washers, actually I think they're foam washers, they shrivel up. This window ultimately gets lowered over time, and then the ball hits this edge, and this edge is infamous for wear. So I touched all that up, and there was lots of wear spots. Actually, a couple of these planets were asteroids there, you can't really tell, but one of those was like half wood, and I just colored in the rest. So lots of different areas around the playfield I touched up. I think I did pretty much around all the inserts and just anywhere that needed it. Some touch-ups are better than others, like little blue splotch there is not perfect. And the least amazing part is under the pop bumpers. I removed the mylar that was under all the pop bumpers because it was loose and dirty and nasty, and under there was a lot of wear. So I just kind of touched it up with blues and blacks, and there's a lot of different shades of bluey gray here, and I wasn't about to go to that extent to try and make it perfect, but it's definitely 10 times better than it was. So after doing all the playfield touch-ups, I did do a brush on clear coat. Actually, I did a flat clear coat at first because I thought it would blend in better, but it actually didn't look so good. So then I re-clear coated the entire thing with semi-gloss, and then I did it again to give it an even finish. I probably cleared the top side 3 times. Again, it was just a paint on. I didn't go to any extreme measures, but for what it is, it looks good. All things considered, I'm happy with how it turned out. You can maybe see some brush strokes here and there if you look really closely. This window I removed and cleaned with some Novus, and I ordered all new foam washers from Pinball Resource, and I tried to get the window as flush as I could all the way around so that the ball doesn't skip and doesn't wear on any of the edges of the playfield. What else? So, new shiny ball. I have the game just in attract mode right now. I mean, in game mode, because in attract mode, this gate opens and closes. It was a programming thing. It was supposed to be, tied to the lights. The lights go on and off, and they kind of wired the somehow attached the gate to that circuit. So the gate thinks it's a light going on and off, but it's actually opening and closing, and that would be annoying in a lengthy video of this machine. So I think that covers everything on the top side. The spinner I adjusted in lube, so she spins forever, which is awesome. Cleaned up the pop bumper bodies and skirts, and cleaned and adjusted every switch. I already mentioned that. Obviously I went through every single light bulb. But I think that pretty much covers. I removed the apron, cleaned under there as usual, and the back corners. Sometimes people don't want to get into the back corners, but let's get the full every square inch treatment. I think that covers the main playfield. Oh, and I rebuilt the shooter rod too, like new barrel spring and actually a brand new, not brand new, but a new shooter rod, because the one that was in there was bent, and of course new shooter tip, and that's working. Sometimes this gate is a little buzzy. That's just normal though. Okay, so now I guess just let's take a tour of the cabinet. So here is the front. I trying to remember everything I did here. I think I just really cleaned up the coin door with some what is it, 0000 steel wool, and then installed a new decal from Pinball Resource. I popped on an old plastic, black hole plastic there as a keychain, and polished up the legs also with steel wool, and installed new leg bolts and new leg levelers. And then let's take a look at the condition of the side of the cabinet. All in all, it's a very nice condition for its age. The head frame here, the nice shiny black, I just did that yesterday. It had a lot of bumps and bruises, but a couple coats of glossy black and it really makes a nice difference. There's the right side of the head actually is in very nice condition. And now let's look at the left side here. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. Oh, it has some scratches here and there. I haven't really thoroughly scrutinized the cabinet sides, but yeah, this left side of the head is also very nice. So does have the key and original locking mech for the head, which is nice. And let's take a look at the back side. No surprises here. Still has all the 4 nylon bumpers there. Yep, so that's all good. I think we might as well talk about the back glasses while we're here. So you can see obviously Black Hole has 2 back glasses, front glass and a back glass. The front glass you actually can only see from the front, but it is in great condition. Just really, it doesn't wear. I mean, it's just got some sort of light coating of mirroring or something on the inside, and it can't really wear because it's enclosed. And then we got the back glass. So you can see a few marks here. That is because the spinning disc was rubbing on it, and I actually, what I did was put Mylar all around the edge. The wear that's on there now only went through this gray layer. It didn't go through the front black layer at all. So from the front you don't see any of these marks at all. And now with this Mylar protecting it, that will never wear any further. It's total preventative maintenance. And as it sits, this back glass is in amazing condition. like a 9 for sure. Even though with this little bit of wear, it doesn't show whatsoever at the front because it's not through both layers of paint. I know it's hard to kind of show through the front glass and the infinity lights and everything, but it is in real nice shape for a black hole. Okay, the spinning disc itself is, I think, pretty darn flat, which is good. You don't want them to be curved, or else that can really mess up your glass, and that's how they get messed up. So, this back panel here, all the displays I've gone over and made sure they were good. The spinning disc, I installed a brand new motor from Servo City as recommended on Pinball PinWiki. And I checked all the light bulbs. All right, let's get into the guts. All right, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna set you up here. Okay, that's a pretty good view there, I think. Okay, so all these boards have been serviced by one of the best in Canada, if not the best. His name is Brent Butler, Tommy Pinball. You can find him somewhere on the interwebs, but he does an amazing job. All these boards, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the back box have gone to him, and they've all been serviced. And you can see the original battery's been done away with, and a CR 2025 button battery is in its place. This is the soundboard, and this chip here, SC-01, is basically impossible to find unless you want to buy a reproduction for about $100. This has the chip. That means we have speech, so that's good. Again, all these boards were serviced, including all the 6 pop bumper boards I sent to him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. Yeah, so 12 circuit boards in a black hole. They all went, all the pop bumper boards had the recommended modifications. The driver board had its jumper modifications done here. And I also did ground mods, as you can see here, on the power supply, CPU, and driver board. My board guy said don't do it to the soundboard because it could cause interference. I think there's some conflicting opinions on that, but I didn't do it on that. There's the new motor. I think it's 2 RPM, and disc spins at a nice rate. And yeah, so that's everything that's going on back there. All is well in circuit board land. Okay, so let's close that back up. And then I guess time to power off the machine and go under the hood. So, black hole, just due to the nature of its design, does not have any built-in prop rods for servicing. So, you kind of have to do your own thing. You can lift the Playfield all the way up and over and lean it on the head. I don't have the height for that, so that is not happening. But I have a system in place. It's called a paint roller brush pole thingamajig. So I just, let's see. Well, I have my machine on casters right now, so my normal positioning for this is not where I normally put it, but there. So let's not bang into that, because that would be a problem if that comes crashing down. Okay, so underside of the Playfield. When I had this on the rotisserie, I checked and cleaned every switch, every solenoid I inspected. I inspected the drop target mechs. The gate mech I adjusted and cleaned. These two flipper mechs I actually stole from a parts lower playfield and replaced the entire flipper brackets because I figured that the lower playfield doesn't get anywhere near as much use as an upper playfield. So I figured they would be in real nice condition, all things considered. So I installed them and new coil sleeves and coil sleeves and whatever else they needed. But so that's for those two guys, and then the other two I just refurbished basically. They all four got new coil sleeves and cleaned up and taken apart and put back together again. Okay, so one other thing, these bulbs here that illuminate the window when you go into the lower playfield, these are special 313 bulbs. Let's see if this is going to focus. I was looking at Samsung S20 focusing tips today on the internet. And this apparently did F all the things that I tried to do. Look at that, not focusing. I need to get a real camera, not a phone. Anyway, I think there's 10 313 bulbs. There was, I think, 47, number 47 bulbs in all those spots, and every single one of them were burnt out. And that's because 313 bulbs are, I think, 12 volts or 24 volts. And the 47 bulbs are like 6 volts. So you apply 12 or 24 volts to a 6 volt bulb and it goes bye-bye. So they were all dead. Now they are all alive. Oh yeah, so this is a bit of a long story. I'll try and make it short. Someone modified every one of the pop bumpers on this machine to basically operate like an electromechanical machine, where they turned the low voltage switches into high voltage switches on the pop bumpers. It's not a good thing to do. So I had to unhack every single wiring hack that they did on all 6 pop bumper boards, and then I had to address all the wiring at each of the pop bumpers as well. And we're not going to really be able to see, but you can kind of see, like, I got shrink tube right there. I had to spend, I don't know, probably like just many hours unhacking all of the pop bumper wiring at the boards and at the pop bumpers. I had to rebuild most of the, if not all of the pop bumper switch stacks, because when you turn a low voltage switch into a high voltage switch and you run too much current through it, you toast the switch and you burn it. And so I had to replace, I think, all of the spoon switches at the very least. They're metal, not the plastic ones that are found in modern games, or more modern games, or different games. Some are metal, some are plastic. There, here's an example. See the metal spoon switch there? So I made sure they were all good. And yeah, whoever did that caused me a lot of grief, but it's now all undone and all back to happy. Okay, so I replaced this display. It was bad, if I recall correctly. And yeah, just addressed whatever wiring issues. I think this wire was off, and just any little thing I found, I went through this thing very thoroughly. And it is, yeah, I think that's about it in regards to the main playfield underside. Okay, so lower playfield, top side, stripped that, cleaned that, rubbered that. Basically got the exact same treatment as the upper playfield. Here's the drop targets on this side, and then I bumped my head. Here's drop targets on this side. I did some playfield touch-ups on here too, come to think of it. Pop bumper caps have no broken clips. These plastics are all original because they were all in good shape, except for there was a crack somewhere. Where did that go? Oh, maybe that was the other mini playfield I was working on. No, I don't. There was a crack in another playfield I was working on. My other black hole. Yeah, so these plastics were all good, so didn't need a new plastic set. Rebuilt the flippers, unhacked the pop bumpers, and then I took all this stuff apart, all these mechs. This is the ball feeding mech. Feeds the ball down to the up kicker mech. So I've torn those apart, cleaned them. This is a new coil, new sleeve, new diode. This probably has a new sleeve in it too. Just wanted to make sure those were all free and clear and doing what they're supposed to do. I removed the tube, cleaned that inside and out, and I think that pretty much covers lower playfield topside. Told you this is going to be a long video. But what we're going to do now is, should just keep my tripod popped open so I don't have to, but sometimes it's nice to have it closed so I can reach in. Now it's time for prop bar number 2, 2x2 piece of wood. So in order to service the lower playfield, you can just slide it out a little bit, and then it catches on a little metal ledge. Then you prop it up, and you have to do it very carefully. Find a spot that's not going to cause any trouble to anybody. That's not my favorite spot right there. Okay, that's where that's going to go for now. We're not going to be at this lower playfield too long, I don't think. Basically, oh yeah, I replaced this transistor here, Q5, because that pertains to the up kicker tube. Actually, that up kicker tube, the solenoid that fires the ball back up to the main playfield, that's notoriously, that coil is known for frying. And I guess the reason is that it has been overfused at the factory. The manual even says that it's supposed to be a 6.25 amp fuse. I have the manual here, actually, and I could probably find that fast, but it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I can find it quick here. A couple more pages, I think. Here. That's the fuse panel. Nope. Here we go. Lower playfield fuses. See how it says F17 is 6 1/4 amp slow blow? Well, PinWiki suggests that that's supposed to be a 2.5 amp, that is actually a mistake. Because what I found was that, well, actually no, I put in the 2.5 amp fuse and I found that the fuse blew on me. So then I installed a new one and played some games, and then it blew on me. Then I installed a 3 amp, played some games, and it blew on me. Then I installed a 4 amp fuse, and it hasn't blown since. So I guess I kind of found the sweet spot between the 2.5 and the 6.25 amp fuse. I don't want to go 6.25 because I don't want to fry that coil. So the finickiness of that particular coil, a little bit of a pain. At first it wasn't kicking the ball up the tube all the way, and I realized that I had a bad trace on the driver board on Q15, because Q5 is tied to that and Q15 is on the driver board. So I actually just replaced the whole driver board, and once I did that, it fired up the tube perfectly every time, as long as the fuse wasn't blown. And like I said, played many games on it since the 4 amp fuse has been in there, and it's been good. But it's a Gottlieb System 80 machine, and it's 40 years old. So my theory and motto is, it is working until it is not. So hopefully that won't be an issue anymore. But, you know, it's pinball. Okay, so what else did I do on the lower playfield? You know, I just checked every switch. I also dremeled out every lamp socket, any topside lamp socket on both playfields with my Dremel and Dremel brush, because it's nice and easy to do. Any flaky sockets, I repaired, fixed, modified, whatever needed, maybe replaced, I forget. And then, so this was also on the rotisserie, so it was nice and easy to work with. So I had this cabinet completely empty, no boards, no Playfields. And when I did that, the first thing before I turned anything on was to check all the bridges, replace that cap. You always want to replace that. And then I also checked every fuse in the entire game to make sure A, the fuse clip was good, B, the fuse was good, and C, the fuse was the correct amperage. And, so there's the fuse panel there. And then there's lower Playfield fuses, upper Playfield fuses, and then wherever the main panel fuses. So there's a lot of fuses in this game. I inspected them all, as you should. Tilt bob is there and doing what it's supposed to be doing. Probably cleaned and adjusted it. I vacuumed out the cabinet many times throughout working on it, and it's in nice condition overall. The front's a little bit more gunky, but the back, I think I probably wiped that down as well because it looks like too clean for it to be 40 years old. Okay, so I think that covered it. Give me a few seconds here. Let me see. I'm gonna read my list here. I'm got a list of a few things that I wanted to remember. Just going to see if there's anything I missed. Oh, I do have custom apron cards coming. I just haven't got them installed, or I haven't got them yet, but have some really cool apron cards en route. They're not just your generic looking ones, they are custom, and they'll look cool when installed. That is the last thing that has to happen on this machine. Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. I don't think I forgot anything. So that is the tour of the black hole. It's my first Gottlieb System 80 machine, and that I have restored. It is quite the learning curve. I spent probably just as much time reading, studying, and learning as I did actually applying that knowledge. So I'd like to think I'm pretty well now versed on System 80 machines, which will come in handy because I am restoring another black hole, and I've got a Mars God of War, and I've got a Pink Panther body that I want to turn into a full machine one day when I can build a head. So all this learning and on this machine here will come in handy in the future for sure. But I think the only thing left is to do a gameplay video. So that's going to be on another video. But that is my black hole restoration video walkthrough. Thanks for watching.